Hey War Gamers, Josh here with Wargames Delivered, and with the upcoming release of Warlord's new game, Achtung Panzer, I am figuring today is the perfect time to start talking about tanks. So let's jump straight into this Soviet tank crew, and I am so excited. Alright, so first on deck for my Winter Soviet crew is going to be a T-34-85. The upgun version of the Soviet tank, the T-34. With the T-34-85, like I said, it has a larger turret and a larger 85mm main gun, up from the 76.2mm main gun. I think I said 85cm and I meant 85mm. Don't. So first on deck for my Soviet tank brigade is going to be a T-34-85, the upgun version of the T-34 with the larger 85mm main anti-tank weapon up front. It was, 85mm howitzer on the top in the turret. It is also mounted with a 7.62mm machine gun up in the front, or alternatively a flamethrower, but we'll go back to that in a little while. The increased size of the turret required an increase in the diameter of the turret ring from, I don't remember the exact dimensions, but it made it significantly larger. With the increased size of the turret ring, they did allow an additional crew member to sit inside of it, allowing the tank commander to fulfill his job as a tank commander instead of having to pull dual duty as a loader as well, or gunner as well. With that being said, the turret was designed, or predominantly designed, for the T-43 Universal tank, which was a tank that Russia was trying to design to replace the T-34 as the primary, or I hate to use this term because it wasn't used then, the main battle tank of Soviet Russia. The T-43 never saw production, but they used a modified version of that turret to mount onto the T-34 chassis, and it helped to greatly increase the firepower of the T-34 and allow it to be a more formidable weapon well into the late war. The T-34 has an enduring legacy, but we'll talk more about that when we come back to the later tanks in this series, because I've got a pair of twin T-34s coming up in the next video that I am super excited to paint. Now, that being said, this kit specifically allows you to build it as the T-34-85 variant, or the OT-34-85 variant, the OT-34-85 variant having the flamethrower on it. I decided that I didn't want to sacrifice my ability to take that flamethrower, so I wanted to magnetize the two frontal weapon options. It was an incredibly simple process to magnetize, as the flamethrower already had a hole in, my flamethrower at least, already had a hole in the back of it that I could mount a paperclip in, and I just had to drill a small hole into the backside of the machine gun to allow it to magnetize to the same place. I threw a couple of magnets on the inside of the body, and I didn't have to even drill a hole for those. They glued right to the inside. Assembly on this kit was really, really easy. There wasn't anything that really jumped out as needing help or attention. One thing that I did not particularly love was the way the turret connected to the chassis. So I did change that. I did widen the hole inside of the chassis mount and slide a magnet into it, and then glue that piece to the chassis itself. And then I took a piece of note card and cut it into a circle and placed it on the inside of the chassis to provide a mount for a magnet on the inside, on the inside of the turret, to provide a mount for the magnet on the inside. I glued my magnets in place, and I now have a magnetized turret. That was incredibly simple. Now we are going to move on to painting. I like to keep it disassembled. well, not disassembled, but painted in stages. So I primed everything in black. I like to prime in black. I know I've told you guys this before. I like to prime in black because it helps to bring shadows into the deepest recesses, so I can, build off a place of shadows rather than build shadows in. Russian armor, Russian tanks was all done in olive green. The color code for it that Russia used was 4BO. Vallejo makes a really nice Russian green that is quite literally called Russian green 4BO. It is the color that I used for this. I sprayed a nice base coat on. Once my base coat was dry, I added decals to the turret and body. And I covered the entire thing with a gloss top coat. It was right about this moment where I started to panic, but I remembered that I was working towards a winter theme and there is a reason that I needed a gloss coat. Before I get to the whitewash, I wanted to add a little bit of pre-weathering, so a little bit of a rust wash in some of the recesses, some of the road wheels, across the handles, a little bit on the turret, pretty much any place where metal rubs on metal or would be touched quite frequently. Once my wash finished drying, I sprayed everything down with a layer of chipping medium. You could use chipping medium, you could use hairspray. Spray that on in a nice even coat and allow it to dry. While that was drying, I mixed myself up a whitewash, which was just a heavy splash of wash medium, a couple of drops of titanium white by Golden, and water to thin it out to the desired consistency. I spread that across the entire top of the miniature, and I set it down and panicked. I let that dry, and I swear, most of painting miniatures is waiting for things to dry. That being said, once it was dry, I took a wet Q-tip and I went to town across the decals and any place that would be frequently touched. So this includes fuel tanks, this includes the handles, any footholds, some spots on the road wheels, which would get rubbed off really easily, so I didn't put a whole ton on there. And once I was satisfied with the removal of the whitewash, I sprayed everything down with a matte coat to seal it all in and protect that whitewash from being rubbed off any further and bring down the shine from the gloss top coat. So overall, I'm really happy with the way that this whitewash turned out, but I would love to hear how you guys do your winter-themed camos down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. I'm Josh. This is Wargames Delivered. And until next time, we'll see you on the table. Bye!